Good afternoon. We're going to go over the watch list for February 3rd, 2020. I don't have much of a list. I'm just going to focus on a few stocks this week, and I don't think really technicals are going to really matter too much. It's all going to be news driven. So the what I'm thinking is that I know we have some things in play, like China's going to inject a lot of money into the market to try to save it or contain the panic or whatever. So I'm going to anticipate what's going to happen is tomorrow is probably going to be a gap down. We'll probably recover Tuesday and Wednesday for like a dead cat bounce, and I think the end of the week is going to end up being a sell-off, kind of like a repeat of last week. And I think that with China injecting money in to try to save the market or save their panic or whatever is going on, that they're going to I think the Fed's going to do the same thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Fed comes out on Tuesday or Wednesday and does something crazy to try to save the market, maybe even do an emergency rate cut. I don't know, who knows. It's just that's one of the things that could happen, just to try to save the market if it's a full-on panic. But we'll see what happens. And like I said, I think tomorrow will probably be a down day, could be a panic day, unless China seems to recuperate some of its losses or controls the panic. Then that tomorrow could be an up day. But I think they'll recover midweek, like I said, and something will come out after the Fed tries to rescue it, like the new updated coronavirus numbers, and it will drop the market again. So that's what I think is going to happen this week, and I'm not going to focus on too many stocks because it just takes your eye off the ball, and I want just to focus on only a couple that will be affected the most by the news. And when that said, that I have CAD, so if they do gap down, that you get levels down here, there's a gap down here on cat right here, 125. So cat could go down and fill the gap if there's a full-on panic. So, and all these stocks I'm going to be watching are good for a bullish run or a bearish run, depending on what is happening, what is driving the market at that point in time. So if it continues to be a bearish week, all these stocks I'm going to talk about are good for a bigger drop, and if the market recovers for a dead cat bounce or a reversal, they're going to be good for that too. So they'll be good to watch in both directions. So cat is one of them. So I'm going to gap right down here, and you get a gap up here. So we'll keep an eye on it below 130 and see if it fills the gap down here. And if it doesn't, the market reverses, we'll watch for a gap fill up here. And we also got Disney. I think Disney is another one that's going to be good for a reversal when the time comes. And it did hold up pretty decent on Friday. So, but below 135, it could go down to the 130s. And if it does reverse, we'll look for a run to the 142 area, 142.50 for Disney. ROKU is another one. Now, they had some news on Friday about having issues with their Fox or something like that, but they seem to correct the issues over the weekend. So even if the market goes down tomorrow, Roku could pop on that news. So, but you get this trend line right here at 119, and then you get this downward channel right here. It broke, but it could bounce back up and could reclaim the 130 to even 137 area on that news. So regardless of what direction the market is going tomorrow, Roku could pop just on that alone. So we'll watch for a reversal on Roku. Unless there is a full-on panic, then I probably wouldn't touch it. Go short. I don't even like shorting Roku, because every time I short it, just does a crazy reversal. So Roku is one I do not like to short, but Disney and Cat I have no problem. And another one is Facebook. Facebook, we had a monster play on Friday, and Facebook can go all the way down to the 190s. I mean, it can get under 200. I mean, it gets under 200. I mean, I think it will go down to the 190s if there's still a lot of panic going on. But it gets below 200, 195, then 190. But if it does reverse, I mean, it could close the gap, get up into the 214 area. If I can get over the 210 to go to the 214 if there is a reversal, but we'll have to see what happens. Like I said, it's all going to be news driven. Apple is another one, and Apple's just up so much that, you know, with Apple would probably be affected the most, with, you know, a fifth of their income is coming from China, and then that most of their production is made in China. So with the being shutting down operations in China and their workers not coming in, so I would be a bit surprised if Apple gets below 300 this week. So I would definitely watch Apple for the downside, because I think they will be the most affected with this whole China coronavirus thing and being shut down and stuff like that, because people are gonna be more worried about staying alive than they are their iPhones. And we also got Netflix. Netflix has actually held up pretty decent considering the news that's been going on. You know, it's been like in this little range for the last few days, like the 349 to the 339. This $10 range is just bouncing in and out of. So I think it's gonna, if the market continues to get weak this week, it's gonna bounce under it's gonna drop below this 338 and probably retest this 320. No, not 320, 330. Couldn't see with this thing right there. So I think that if it drops below that, we'll get to 330. And the other one that someone brought to my attention and I looked at, I actually do like, is Home Depot. I mean, Home Depot looks like it's going to drop. I mean, it's got some weakness and it gets under this 227.50 area. I think it can go down and fill this gap to the 225s and even get down to the 222 area. So Home Depot is another one I'd watch short if the market continues to get worse. So yeah, I'm only focusing on Disney, Roku, Facebook, Apple, Netflix, and Home Depot. So that is the anticipation for the week, that tomorrow we gap down. We have probably a red day tomorrow with possibly a midday pop. Then Tuesday and Wednesday will probably be a big dead cat bounce like last week. Then Thursday into Friday, probably a red day on updated coronavirus numbers or other news related to it. So that is what I'm forecasting for the week. I'm not going to overcomplicate it. That's why this watch list is tiny. Just keep it simple, and just keep an eye on the news events and trade them accordingly. And that's going to do it for this watch list. Thanks.